How easily can you get down and back up off the floor? This simple sit to rise test says a lot about your body, and research suggests that it could even predict your lifespan. In this video today, first I'll show you how to do the sit to rise test. Then we'll talk about how to score it, what your score means, and what that really says about your body and possibly your longevity. And finally, I'll share some simple ways you can improve the strength, mobility, and control needed to make this easier over time. So make sure you stick with me to the end of the video because that's the most important part. We're going to give you the actionable steps to take to improve your health and longevity. This test is based on a Brazilian study that linked your sit to rise score with your lifespan or how long you'll live. Now, I think that's a really big claim, but what this test absolutely can measure are key factors to healthy aging, like strength, balance, and mobility, which directly affect your quality of life as you get older. I've linked the research down in the description if you'd like to read more about it, but for now, let's try the test. Start standing and cross one leg in front of the other. Now, without using your hands or your knees or any kind of support, if you can help it, bend your knees and slowly lower yourself all the way down to the ground. And then once you get down, we'll come back up with control, standing up without hands or knees or any kind of support. And that's it. That's the test. Now, a perfect score is 10 points. So that's our goal, to get a full 10 points. You get 5 points on the way down and 5 points on the way back up. And each time you need to use a hand, a knee, or any kind of external support, you lose a point. So for example, if you were coming down and you needed to put a hand down to get on the floor safely, but then on the way up, you were fine, so you didn't really need to use anything, that would be a 9. If you were fine getting down, but then you were struggling to get back up, this is, working with my students, this is very common, so you needed to come around and use both knees to get back up, that would be an 8, right? Because you get a perfect 5 for coming down, and then you just lose 2 points, 1 for each knee on the way up. And you just lose half a point if you wobble around a little bit on the way down or up or lose your balance. Here's the thing. Here's what I'd really love to get across to you today. If you weren't able to do this perfectly, it does not mean you failed. In fact, the data shows that only 8% of people over 55 can do this. So the most important thing is to just keep working on getting up and down in as many different ways as possible. Everybody's got something going on in their body, so you may have joint replacements or knee pain or disc issues that keep you from getting a perfect 10 on this test. But that doesn't mean you should just give up, throw the whole thing out and say, this is a dumb test. The ability to get up and down off the floor is not a skill we want to lose. It's tied to our independence, fall prevention, confidence in movement, our quality of life, being able to do what we love for as long as possible. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I am going to walk you through a couple of things you can do to improve your sit to rise scores, but what I would really most love to encourage you to do is practice getting up and down off the ground in whatever way you can, as often as you can. So if that means you need to use both knees to get down, do it and just practice that. If that means you have knee pain or a joint replacement and you don't want to put any weight on your knees, practice squatting down, shifting your hips over, whatever works for you. If you want to use a chair to get up and down, use a chair or a stool. I have a couple of students who love practicing using downward facing dog as a transition up and down. Let me show you quickly what that would look like. It does require some upper body strength. So from a seat, you would just scoot your knees over to one side, put palms down on the floor, use your upper body to tuck your toes and send your hips up and back. And so you're in your downward facing dog for my yogis out there, upside down V with hips up in the air. Walk your hands in, and of course you can stand up from here, and then to get back down, you would squat down, walk your hands forward, or you could walk your feet back, and you're in your upside down V here. And then shift your weight forward so shoulders are more over the wrists, bend your knees, and scoot your hips to the side. That's really where the upper body strength needed comes into play. Bring your feet out in front of you and you're in a seat. So it really depends on what you have going on in your body, on whether that would work for you or another variation of getting up and down would work better for you. If you are interested in practicing different techniques for getting up and down off the ground in different ways, will you leave me a comment down below and let me know? Because I actually work on this a lot with my in-person yoga students, and I would love to explore that with you in a video if you're interested. So just let me know if you are. But for now, let's talk about a few specific things you can work on to improve your sit to rise score. Let's start with a practice for hip mobility. The sit to rise test requires a lot of mobility in our hips. So you can start seated for this. Okay, legs out in front of you, feet wide, knees bent. And then start by just leaning back and using your hands behind you. This makes it a little less challenging. We're going to start with this more easeful version and then work our way up, okay? Lift the chest and then just let your knees drop side to side. Now what we're going for here is as much depth. We want the knees to get down as close to the floor as they can without any kind of tweaking or pulling or pain in the joints, especially the knees. So just listen to your body. If you need to start with less range, like this, and then let the knees go a little further over side to side, do it. It's okay for this to have your hip pop up off the mat. For what we're doing today, don't worry about that. Okay, now if this is easy peasy for you, then you're going to sit up just a little bit taller. So walk your hands in a little more by your side and keep your chest lifted. And then same thing. You might notice yourself traveling forward on this, and that's absolutely okay. Just readjust if you need to. And then finally, you can try taking your hands together in front of your heart. So not using any hands at all. And same thing, side to side. So if you feel like your back is really rounded here and it's really hard to sit up tall, just start leaning back. That's the beauty of these seated windshield wipers. You can gradually improve over time. And then you can shake your legs out. Woo, my hips feel great. I hope yours feel a little more open. Let's move on to strength now. Specifically, lower body and core strength is what we need to improve our sit to rise score. So stand up with me. Bring your feet about hip distance apart, so not too wide with the toes straight ahead. I'm going to turn to the side here so you can see. You can bring your hands to your heart. I like to just keep them in towards center, or you can do arms out, whatever you'd prefer. And let's sit down and back. Now, I'm going to be a stickler about alignment on this. I want you to sit as far back into your hips as you can. So look at the difference between this. Look at where my knees are in relation to my ankles. And then this. Do you see the difference? So sit back into those heels, sit back into the hips. That's going to help us activate some muscles back here, our glutes and legs, rather than just the knees and quads. So sit down and back. Now, once you feel your heels rooted down, maybe we come a little lower. Maybe we graze our fingertips on the floor. Maybe we squat our bottom a little lower, and then we slowly use our strength to stand all the way back up. Shake out your legs. If that bothered your knees at all, I don't want you to go quite as deep. And another thing that will help that is, again, shifting the weight further back. We're hinging from the hips here rather than like this. Let's try again. Hands to the heart or arms out. Sit down and back, long spine, weight shifts back, 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 back. So we're doing a really low chair pose here. Maybe we touch the fingertips and then we rise back up. Okay, now if that's easy peasy for you, what can we do to make this a little more challenging? Single leg chair, so pick up a foot while you're coming down. If balance is an issue, use a chair or a wall for support. So sit down and back. And then we're going to load the right leg. So shift all your weight to that right foot, especially the heel. Those hips go back. Maybe we just lighten up the left to start and just play again, grazing down, or maybe you pick it up. This requires so much strength. So if this is just not working for you right now, don't worry about it. Build up to it. Let's do the other side. Weight back, load the left leg or whichever one you didn't do. Root through that heel. Think of dialing the knee outward of the standing leg. And then lighten up that right foot or pick it up. Maybe we come lower, maybe we touch the floor, and then we rise back up. Take a big breath in through the nose. Let it go with a sigh. Shake out any tension. So that's something that you can do daily, regularly to improve your lower body strength. And then one last tip I'm going to offer is to practice the actual movement of the sit to rise as it was done in the study, but only going as far down as you can using support. And there's a couple of things I do want to mention. Sometimes just the positioning of your feet may make a difference. So maybe you tried it with your left foot in front of the right. Maybe you want to try the right in front of the left and see if that makes any difference. You can also try, if you're down on the floor here and it's just not working to get up, I've noticed that for some of my students, to bring the feet in a little closer together can help. And if you have to use a little momentum to get up, no big deal, okay? Do whatever you need to do to work on this. Sometimes it's just a matter of your body getting used to moving in these newer ways. So just a few little tweaks and a little practice, you might notice a huge difference. But if you want to try it with a chair or a stool, cross one foot over the other, bend your knees, hinge from the hips like we did a second ago with chair pose, and hold on to the support or put your hands on the support. And then just bend your knees a little deeper, knees move out, hips move back, and only go as far down as you can. And then come back up. And you can just practice that. I would do it several times and then switch the other foot on top. And then if coming down isn't an issue for you, come on down and then try it like this. Use the chair. Try to shift your weight, use momentum, maybe a little rock back and forward. The rock back has been really beneficial for some of my students because then it helps that little bit of momentum to come forward, put your weight on the chair, and then press yourself all the way back up. So that's something to try too if it's the getting up that's a problem. So I hope one of those options was helpful and beneficial to you. Again, we all have different bodies, so you might have to try different things until you find what works for you. And I actually have a free printout for you that's going to be very helpful. It's 5 yoga poses to do every day for healthy, pain-free hips. And these poses build both strength and mobility, which is exactly what you need to improve your sit to rise score. So you can go to yogaforhealthyhips.com to get that free printout. It includes visuals of the poses and instructions. The link is also down in the description. Above all, please remember that your score is not set in stone. It's just a snapshot of where you are today. The more you practice, the more you continue to move your body to improve your strength and mobility, the easier the sit to rise will become. And maybe, just maybe, you'll live a little longer too.